IYP is this Ikon Youth Programme. I suppose it's kind of like linked with Tate and things like that as well. It's a similar idea, but it's just Ikon-led.
It's kind of like project-based, so we were doing a project with artists called Juno Projects, and they called Black Country Voyages. So we were using the boat and going around the Black Country and using the canal paths and doing kind of individual workshops in the public. So a few that I went to, like in Tipton and places like that, where we set up in parks, had people in the summer holidays, had kids coming, creating pieces of art that went onto this boat. It's kind of like a moving exhibition, that was the idea. Because Juno Projects work a lot with natural elements and animals, and also kind of bringing in the community into it. So it was really good to not just us in a meeting once a week to chat and do things, but it was also us working towards an actual project that existed.
They also get the opportunity so they work with artists directly, which is obviously a fantastic experience on its own. But we also do practical workshops and things like that. But like I already said, it's a great opportunity for like-minded people to get together and discuss what they're doing as well.
While before when Emrys was in charge, we actually did an arts award tag over where we had your website for a month and we posted that things that happened here.
So we do a summer school which is for Arts Award, which we collaborate with the Glass Cone in Stourbridge, so the Glass Museum down there, and it's an intense week, and we get a selection of young people through their Bronze Arts Award scheme, where they work directly with a glass artist and they're given the opportunity to produce their own work. So it's an intense week in the summer, which we're actually going to redo this year because it was so successful last year, which was great. So we do the open social, which is one per exhibition that comes on.
Okay.
And we work in partnership with another company, so we worked with Soundpad recently, and we collaborate together to put on an event that IYP work with us for, that's free to the public. It's on a Friday evening, so the galleries are open later. It always involves a tour of the exhibition space. So for us, that's a big opportunity to incorporate or encourage new people to come to the gallery that necessarily wouldn't. But it's an opportunity for young people, like-minded, to come along, socialise together. It normally always involves a practical activity, so we did poetry at the last one.
I think a couple of months ago we had a group called Little Miss Creative come, who do like performance work in spoken word sort of pieces. So not only was it them coming to Ikon who necessarily had been before, but it was also us getting involved with them, so I've been to a few events since I hadn't heard of them before they came. So it was really, really good to kind of make new contacts, meet new people, look at how something like spoken word and poetry. I think the good thing about art scene is that it's big enough to, you're always meeting new people, but it's not so big that, I mean, you recognise people, and it's good because you know, especially events like there's a thing called Digbeth First Friday, which is in the Minerva Work Studios in Digbeth, and that's the first Friday every month, and it has open studios and there's lots of people exhibiting and stuff, and it's a really kind of good social event. And then so you go every month, and then you've met new people since you've gone there, and then new people come, and it's good because it's not so big that you never see someone ever again. You think, oh, that person was interesting, but I forgot to ask what their name was, or I didn't remember what their email address was. It's big enough so that you're able to meet new people, but you still see the same faces. You think, oh yeah, I saw you like 6 months ago here, or how's that project getting on? It's good in that sense. Really, really useful.
No, I think I've already interested, especially with like Margaret Street, which is like the art part of the university here. So it's very art based.
I think that the hard thing, which it's hard for everything, is making that awareness of something, and how do you approach the right people that would be interested in it. It's always a struggle, but it's still up and coming, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we were discussing before that the arts in general in Birmingham, there is this progression, and it's definitely getting to be like a bigger scene. And you can kind of just feel it when you're walking around, especially in like Digbeth, which is almost like creative art central, isn't it, for Birmingham. So it's fantastic. It's great to see. When I was younger, there was nothing really for me to get involved in, whereas here, there's so much. When you do an art degree, there is a huge emphasis, as it should be, on creative skills and developing those skills. There's not much input on the business side of when you leave uni and how you actually approach companies and how you put together like a proposal and things like this. That's where I think it's lacking. I don't know if that's something that universities need to tweak or incorporate into their schemes and things like that. But I've had this discussion with other people. We said that's definitely an area. Artists come out of university, they know how to create work. That is what they're passionate about. But it's how they approach the right people to make it happen and make it possible for them to produce the work.
Like last Open Social, we had SoundCloud, we had a panel of creatives who, in industry doing, were in our position 10, 20 years ago. And it really, that sort of thing of how being able to ask questions and then scrutinise what they're saying and saying, okay, that's great that you're giving this motivational, very ambiguous, or, go for it, dream, blah, blah, blah. But to be able to actually scrutinise them and say, okay, they said, oh yeah, well I looked at here, take on free work but don't get exploited. They were giving practical, specific advice, and that was definitely useful. I think it's being able to say that and not being scared to say, okay, it's great you talked about, never giving up, but what does that mean?